Hi, thank you for joining us. If our panelists and my co-hosts could go ahead and unmute their video, we'll go ahead and get started in about a minute. Hi, Sonal.
Hi.
Great. We've got about a minute before we get started, and right now I'm just going to go ahead and always do a quick introduction of our panelists. Bonnie, why don't you go ahead and start us out if you want to just let us know what your major is and basically where you're from and why you decided to choose USC.
Hi, I'm Bani, and I'm currently studying computer science from Viterbi School. I'm from India, New Delhi, and I chose USC because of the professors who was teaching here, and I had interest in one of the professors and wanted to do some research with him. That was one major reason I chose USC.
Great. Sonal, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Sonal Chabria. I'm from the Electrical Engineering Department, and my major is Computer Networks. I chose USC because I was really impressed with the curriculum they have set out for the Computer Networks major. And the location-wise, it's in California, so there's no better place than California.
Great. And Lawrence, if you could go ahead and let us know.
Hi. Yeah, good morning. I'm from Taos, New Mexico, and the reason I chose USC is because I got to do a campus visit. I love Los Angeles and all the beaches, and I just love the weather, so why not?
Great. I'd also like to introduce Laura Hartman. She's my co-host, and she's actually also a student here, though not in engineering. So how do you like being a student here, Laura?
Well, I'm actually getting to the end of my master's program. I'm in the School of Communication, but what I've definitely noticed as I'm getting close to graduation, there's so many alumni resources that the university connects students to, so I've really gotten to see the student side of things, but I'm also work in the Viterbi School Graduate Programs Office along with Ray. So we are here. There may be some questions that come up that maybe the students can't answer, so we'd be happy to jump in and take those. But we're really excited. This is the first time we're doing a Google Hangout. So we're really pleased with all the questions we got ahead of time. We will do our best today to answer as many questions as we can. But if not, we're always here after the session for you to connect with. So I'm going to actually let Ray take the lead on moderating today, but nice to meet all of you.
Great, thank you, Laura. We do have one more panelist that hopefully will be joining us in a minute or two. When he does, I'll introduce him. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. It looks like most people are interested on, not surprisingly, on where graduate students live. So because this is such a major question for almost every student coming to USC, I'm going to go ahead and ask all of our panelists, what their living arrangements are, and whether there were any challenges in finding housing when they first arrived on campus. Sonal, why don't we start with you?
So there are a large number of apartments which go out for lease right around the campus. I think you just have to act quickly, like do your research at least a month or two before you actually come here. And through leasing offices, you can lease the places out. So it really depends on your budget and your choice whether you want a shared room or you want a single room. And it's really easy. You just have to do your research, and there are lots of options available.
Great. And are you currently in USC housing, or are you in one of the independently owned places?
No, I'm in one of the independently owned places.
Okay, great. Lawrence, how about yourself? Oh, you need to unmute your microphone, Lawrence. Thank you.
I live off campus about a mile and a half on Normandy and 23rd. But I do know of a lot of students who live closer to campus on Menlo and at the Lorenzo. They house a lot of students, so that's pretty close to campus, and they have a great bus system and campus ride. So if you don't want to live on campus, you could use the transportation system that USC provides to be able to commute around to where you need to go. So
Great. Thank you, Lawrence. And Vani?
Hi. I live off campus mainly because USC grad housing is not available. I mean, campus housing is not available for grad students. So I probably chose the off-campus independent apartments here. You have a lot of options because this place is all for students. You just have to look around. Like I checked of 3 months before I moved to LA. So I had booked my apartment long back. It's just that you get everything online. You just have to find out the best place. You primarily focus on the proximity from campus where your apartment is, how close is it from the places where you can get your grocery, and the tram stops were closer. So these are main reasons you can look around for an apartment here.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Our next question is regarding the cost of living here in Los Angeles. I don't know whether any of you want to disclose about how much you're paying on a monthly basis for your living expenses, but a lot of people also want to know how you meet those expenses. Do you want to go ahead and start us off with that one, Sonal?
So, yeah, it being in California, you would say it's relatively more expensive because you're in the heart of the city. But if you get an on-campus job, you can easily survive and live comfortably around USD. That's not a problem.
Okay. Lawrence and Bonnie, I don't know whether you have anything additional to add, but Lawrence, if you do, you want to chime in now?
I think the price range what students would like to know is maybe around minimum 700 to about 1600, I would say, is the price range. And a lot of students do shared living, so that's probably the cheapest way to go. But if you want to have your own place, it's going to range around 1200, I would say. And basically the cost of living is a little bit higher in California, but we do live about 3 miles from downtown LA, so there's a lot of opportunities to get involved with many things outside of USC.
Great, thank you. Bonnie, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, it's like whatever Lawrence and Sonal said, it's perfect. And there's like the range is from like $500 to 800 or 900. It's for the people who are sharing. So it depends upon your own budget, how much you have set aside for your living. And on top of that, a part-time job really does help.
Great. Actually, I know this will come up later, but I'm curious whether the three of you are all doing campus jobs, and if you had any problems finding them, if you do have one. Bonnie, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I'm doing an on-campus job. I like started a little late because I was not sure if I'll be able to cope up. But yeah, it's not that tough. You have flexibility of choosing the number of hours you want to work. So it's just like you need to look around for opportunities on campus and keep applying for those.
Great. Sonal, if you have anything to...
I work on campus as well. It's not tough getting an on-campus job. You just have to be on the lookout and interact with seniors because the easiest way of getting it is through a referral.
Great, thank you. Lawrence?
I'm on the military in campus, and I also have a campus job. I would say probably the best resource to getting a job is your faculty and your professors. That's probably your best in, and then just being involved on campus so you can figure out where people are working. The library usually hires a lot of people, and the TCC building also hires a lot of people. So it's fairly easy, I would say, to get a job on campus.
Great. Oh, and just so people know, TCC is our Tutor Student Center, so or I should say Tutor Campus Center. And it looks like I'm going to keep you on, Lawrence. It looks like a lot of people are also asking about, well, it's probably a little early for you to be talking about getting jobs, but have you done an internship yet, or are you planning on doing an internship?
I'll be doing an internship this summer, and because I'm graduating, I'll be working full-time after. So the career connections, if you're going into engineering, we have a good career connections. It's called Viterbi Connect, and you can log on online. So USC does a great job with connecting with its alumni and all the local businesses. So the career fair works really well. So yeah, it's been pretty good for me in terms of getting an internship and a job offer after.
Great. How about you, Vani? Have you done an internship, or are you planning on doing one here?
Yeah, I'm planning to do one here in the summer. It's my second semester, so I'm eligible for an internship. I'm looking for one. It's just that you have to be on time because as opposed you have the application process starts a little early. So as soon as you join in fall, you probably should start with your intern process.
Okay. You're talking about the CPT
Yeah.
process?
Yeah.
How about you, Sonal? Anything on the internship front?
So this is my last semester here, so I would say I was lucky. And USC has a lot of resources which you can use, as Lawrence mentioned. I got my internship in my first semester through the career fair at USC. So, as Vani said, you have to be on the lookout and keep up, be quick about it, because there are lots of opportunities out there, you just have to grab them.
Okay, great. Because this one comes up a lot, and I'm going to ask you to answer this one, Laura, I have a question from Surabi Subramanya regarding the opportunities for research and teaching assistantships.
Sure. So yeah, I do see a lot of those questions. So at USC, the RAs and the TAs are typically reserved for the PhD level. So there really aren't opportunities to participate in paid research at the master's level. However, about 20% of our master's students do have interest in research, and they might do either a thesis or a directed research project, and then to gain research experience with the intention to then apply to the PhD. But I do know that I saw also, Ray, I'll just jump in about scholarships. There were a number of questions about scholarships. So what I can let students know, we're sort of right in the beginning of April, right in the middle of April. So if you are, if you have been admitted and you submitted your application by December 15th, then you are being considered for scholarships, and those will be issued through the end of the month. So hopefully that answers the scholarship question.
Great, thank you, Laura. Actually, while we're on the subject of research, I know all three of you are master's students, so research isn't an automatic part of your program. Are any of the three of you actually doing research of any sort? Sonal, do you want to start us off on that one?
So I'm not involved in this research group, and as Laura mentioned, the East student.
Sonal, I think we lost a bit of your audio, so I'm going to come back to you since obviously you've got something to say, but I'm going to come back to you. Vani, are you doing anything in the way of research?
Not entirely a proper research, but I'm looking forward to a research with one of my professors next semester. I have a topic and discussions going on for the same. So it's just that you have to be open with the idea that you have and approach the professor you want to continue or do your research under. So just approach the professors. Everyone is really helpful here. So it gives you a lot of opportunity and a lot of scope to explore.
Great. How about you, Lawrence? Anything research-wise?
I'm working on some research. I've been working on research for the past year, and from my perspective, I'm a petroleum engineering student. So I would say specifically in that department, you would have to speak with your advisors and your professors because maybe sometimes they'll have some grant money or maybe you could work out some other opportunities for funding in terms of doing your research. But basically, it comes down to you building your relationships with your professors and how you build that bridge to be able to get in to do some research as a graduate student.
Great. So why don't we give your audio another shot?
Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yep, I think we can hear you. Go ahead.
So, as Lawrence mentioned, what I was trying to say is I haven't been involved with research directly because I didn't choose to, but a lot of my friends are, and the easiest way of doing that, as Laura mentioned, was the directed research, for which you just walk up in the office hours to any of your professors and ask them for opportunities, and there are lots of them out there.
Great, thank you. Well, I've got you on the, let's see, so we've got a question on the safest localities to live in, and I'm going to jump in here. On our USC site, there actually is a map with what they call the patrolled zone around USC. That is actually the safest area for housing because it's fully patrolled by the university, and that's also, excuse me, and that's also where all of the free transport services are worked throughout that area as well. So if you have any additional questions, you can actually email us at viterbigradprograms@usc.edu, and we'd be happy to send you the link to that map or answer any questions. I did have a few people that were interested on how easy it is to maintain that 3.0 plus GPA while you're working. Since all three of you are working, I'm gonna just let you chime in real quick on whether or not you found it at all challenging to work and maintain your studies. Bonnie, why don't we start with you?
Hi. Yeah, I have a 3+ GPA, I would say, and it's not that difficult, but it's just that you have to be able to manage your own studies and your work. If you're not able to, you have an option to drop out of the work. But yeah, you need to maintain a good GPA. It helps you a lot, and it gives you a better chance to stand out.
Great. Lawrence?
I would say time management is my biggest discipline in terms of keeping my grades up. I'm also involved with now on campus with a lot of organizations. So it's easy to get involved, but it's also a little bit challenging to keep your time in order. So just staying in good relationships with your professors and making sure that you manage your time well. Laura, I think Ray came on. So.
Well, I think can you hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've lost our moderator, so I will go ahead and jump in then. Oh, Ray, are you back? So let's see, I will grab another question then. Just a moment. So let's see, I know a lot of students are asking about jobs, so just to let you know and kind of what the students talked about, we definitely have career resources here, so it's really up to you as a student to make the most of that, but something that USC does offer is really the chance to connect you with industries and companies located across Southern California. So let me see if there's any other questions that are a good fit for the students here. Oh, I think maybe Ray is joining back on. So maybe each of you could tell me what your favorite class is at USC. Lawrence, do you want to start?
Could say I love all of my classes, but maybe I could talk more about what I like about being on campus when I come. So basically, if you're in the Viterbi area, they've just redone the engineering quad, so it's a great time. Hi, Ray. We see
Hi.
you back in.
Thank you. Yeah, I got kicked off
Yeah,
for some reason.
good. So we could continue with your questions if you want. We kind of just were winging it a little bit.
Well, thank you for carrying on. I appreciate that. Um, so let's see what.
Well, do you want to finish what you were saying, Lawrence, about the on-campus experience?
Sure. So what I like about USC is specifically the engineering area. Is the engineering quad. You can host events if you're involved with organizations, and it's a great way to just be outside the area. If you're not familiar with it, the engineering quad is basically a local place to hang out outside, and it's a communal area. So I like being in that area to study or just have lunch and whatnot.
Okay, so because I know we have a couple of computer science students with us, someone was asking about the seemingly large number of students that have been admitted recently into CS, and that they were wondering whether it's caused any issues as far as quality of education or the ability to find jobs. Obviously, from what you've been saying, that certainly finding jobs hasn't been an issue, but have you seen any impact on the quality of education? And this question would be, obviously, we'll start with you, Sonal.
I think the quality of education doesn't get affected for sure. USC has a really large number of faculty and supporting faculty who always pitch in and see to it that you get the best quality of education. But being a student in such a large population, again, you have to be smart about it and plan out your semesters as to what you want to pick when, so that you get your subjects early and you're not in the last minute tension of running around and wondering what to do if you don't get this subject or that subject, because there are limited seats for each subject, which you have to work around.
Great. Bonnie, did you have anything to add to that?
Sonal said almost everything that's required. It's just that timing. You have to be very particular about the time when you have to apply and approach the professors. If you have any difficulty in your course, they are really helpful. So the number increasing students primarily won't affect your education because the lectures are the same, the professors are the same. It's just that the number of students is more. So if you don't get something in the class, you can reach out to them in the office hours.
Great. So this is a question for you. Someone had said that you did mention on-campus jobs, and they're wondering whether you have any advice on the best time to start looking for an on-campus job.
So if you know you're coming in for sure, the easiest thing would be to reach out to any senior you know beforehand. That way, they can put you through their on-campus job, or as soon as you get in, there are lots of activities you're gonna get to interact with seniors. So that's the second way. And the third way is, as soon as you come here, you're going to tour the campus. Just ask around. As Lawrence mentioned, the library picks a lot of student workers. So that would be the third way of approaching it. Just walk around campus and ask the offices if they have any open positions.
Okay. We also had someone that was asking just about how much people are being paid for your on-campus job. So if it's not too personal, can each of you tell us about how much you're being paid in your on-campus job? Lawrence, why don't we start with you?
So my campus job comes in the form of a stipend, and it's around $1,600 a month. So that's what my stipend comes to. I'm not sure what the hourly wages are around campus, but yeah, that's what I'm getting paid.
Okay. How about you, Bonnie?
Hi, I mean, the USC follows the California minimum wage policies, so you get the minimum wages; those are set. So for currently, it's like $9. I don't know, but how much you get paid on an hourly basis depends upon the job you are in. So it ranges from like $9 to $17 per hour. So it depends upon the job you're doing.
Okay, great. Did you have anything to add, Sunil?
As Vani mentioned, it depends upon the job. If you have a grader position, it pays you higher than working in, say, the library. So again, it really depends on what you do.
Right. And I'll add in a little bit here because they were also asking how many hours. And that does vary, obviously, from job to job. But for on-campus jobs, students are restricted to a maximum of half time, so that's 20 hours a week. Sorry, I'm sort of scrolling through these questions here. Okay, here's so there's someone who wants to know. Shelza wants to know whether does the location of California provide me an advantage in finding the internships and jobs? Is this process online? Can you comment on this? Could you also please name some companies that come to campus fairs for internships and jobs? I don't know whether any of you, well, I believe all three of you have at least been to some of the career fairs. I don't know whether you'll remember offhand some of the companies that you talked to, but Lawrence, are there? It sounds like you have something lined up already. Can you tell us who you have lined up for your internship and what sort of companies you've talked with the career fairs?
Sure. So the career fair, the best way to get involved with that is you have to set up your own type of profile, and it's Viterbi Gateway, and then you could also just Google USC Career Connections. Basically, once you get your ID number, you're gonna have access to all these jobs, and they post all the jobs that are up. And on the day of the career fair, they'll have a list of all the companies that come, but specifically to petroleum engineering, Schlumberger comes, California Resources Corporation, did I mention Chevron, Shell? A lot of companies come, so it kind of just depends on what focus you're trying to go into, and has to being in California and Los Angeles specifically, because of the great population, you have huge companies that come here a lot, and I would say a lot of the USC population gets chosen to get into a lot of jobs, specifically in the computer science. So.
Great, thank you, Lawrence. Sonal, did you want to talk a little bit about the career fair as it applies to computer science majors?
Yes. So the career fair definitely helps a lot. Being in California and LA specifically, you get access to a lot of the startups which you wouldn't have access to in any other state, because as we know, the Bay Area is right here. So you have a big advantage over other campuses. That being said, USC has a really strong alum base, and we see most of our alumni only coming to recruit us in the career fair, which is again a great advantage for us. And also, if not on campus, through the career fair, through career services and your own networking, you can definitely reach out to a lot of people in California.
Great, thank you. I don't know if you have anything to add. I know you're also computer science, Vani.
Yeah, as just Sonal mentioned, you get an opportunity to interact with the recruiters directly on campus when they're here for the career fairs, and it's like more than 100 companies on the career fair, so it's like you get a lot of opportunity. Having been said that, there are a lot of students, so you have to act smart.
Great. Actually, Vani, while I've got you on the line, and I've got someone that that had a question about computer science and the coursework there. They're wondering about how many hours of classwork an MS Computer Science student does in a typical week.
Depending upon the number of credits you have taken, I would say the classes are not that rigorous, but yes, the assignments and the coursework related to it takes a lot of your time. So take in consideration that you should be studying like all week, but yeah, take out your own time. So it's like you have to manage your own time with the number of hours that you're required to put in.
Okay. Sonal, I don't know if you have anything to add. Can you give us a feel for maybe about how many hours you put in a week?
So I would say how many hours really depends on what courses you pick. If you pick the tougher ones, you definitely spend, for every 1 hour in class, you definitely spend 3 to 4 hours of class working on it. But for the easier ones, it's like 1 hour of class and 1 hour of class work. So it actually depends on how you pick your subjects and plan it out.
Great, thank you.
So, Ray, would you mind if I jumped in and asked a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I know a lot of students are asking about jobs and internships, and that's all great, but I think also I'd love to find out more about, really what life is like on campus for students. So maybe we can ask each of you, do you participate in clubs and other organizations outside of the classroom and the lab?
Okay. Lawrence, why don't we start with you on that? I know that you had said that you and Sonal are both pretty active here at USC.
Yeah, I'm involved in quite a bit of clubs, and I've been able to be involved with the Viterbi Graduate Student Association, the Society of Petroleum Engineers, the Army ROTC, obviously. I mentioned I was in the Army earlier. The Mork Family Department. I just helped found a new organization in there. And also the graduate student government. So there's definitely a lot of organizations you can be involved with, and it's a great opportunity to meet a lot of future leaders and your peers. So me and Sonal have been able to build good relationships together, working together, and yeah, it's a great opportunity on campus.
Great. Sonal, why don't we move straight on to you?
As Lawrence mentioned, both of us are part of the Viterbi Graduate Student Association. So we're Master Students Organization, which helps bridge gaps between all the Viterbi graduate students. Besides this, we have the opportunity of being part of many cultural organizations as well, like the AIS, that's the Indian Student Association, the CSSA, that's the Chinese Student Association. So there are lots of clubs out there. Again, it depends on what you want to be a part of. And I would say you definitely should be a part of them because they help enhance your Viterbi experience.
Great. And Bonnie?
Yeah, as Sonal mentioned, we have a lot of opportunities out there. So there are a lot of clubs and a lot of cultural events that go out like all around the year. So you can participate, you could be a part of any or many. So it depends upon your own choice. But there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of clubs out there.
Great, thank you. I have a question from Aditya regarding graduate advisors. I'm just going to take this one really fast. And that since you've been admitted and are definitely coming to USC, you are actually welcome to contact your graduate advisors now regarding courses and such. There is, if you click on the contact link on gapp.usc.edu, you can get a list of all of the graduate advisors and their contact information. I have a question here regarding safety from Anmol. They've heard that downtown LA isn't exactly the safest place to be. And what are the odds of making it through the program without encountering something unpleasant like being mugged or murdered? Well, I'll tell you that I've actually been associated with USC starting as a student in 1976. I am 5'3" and not particularly imposing, and I actually have not had any unpleasant encounters in all my time here on campus, but let's go ahead and hear from our students and hear whether they've had anything unpleasant that they've had to deal with. Sonal, let me start with you.
I've been at USC for 2 years now, and touch wood, I haven't had any bad experiences at all. So it is unsafe being at downtown. You should move around in groups or pairs, and that's the easiest way to ward off anything bad that happens.
Great. Bonnie?
Yeah, the moment you guys will arrive at campus, you'll get all the DPS orientations to understand how to be more safe. Definitely, it's closest to downtown, so you have to watch out your shoulders, walk in groups as soon as said. So it's like you have to take care of your own safety. And well, I've not gotten into any of such bad encounters as far. So it's just that be careful when you're walking around. And USC provides the campus cruiser services. Those are available in the evenings, and they are the best things to use. Don't get in the glitch of waiting for the cruiser. It's just that it's just a few minutes wait, but it saves you from any danger.
Great. Lawrence?
I would say in general, the USC campus area is very safe because DPS is doing a great job in terms of helping keep it safe. In terms of going downtown or even around campus, basically if you're out in the middle of the night, you should be with pairs and maybe let people know where you are. That's commonly what happens, people being alone. And bad things happen in those cases, but overall I haven't had a bad experience in terms of safety at USC, and I felt safe the entire time that I've been here, so happy about that.
Great. Laura, I know you're also a grad student here and you're taking night courses, so I'm going to ask you to chime in on this as well.
Great. I definitely will chime in. My classes are always in the evening, and so I am on the campus at night frequently. And because we have such a large graduate student population, we actually have more graduate students here than we have undergraduates. What you find is the campus is really buzzing and alive at nighttime. It's really well lit. It's actually a gated campus, so there's actually guards outside the campus, so just stray people can't come on and off the campus. And what you'll also find, not just on campus but around the neighborhood, you will see we have this kind of neighborhood watch group that are just there to kind of make sure everything is safe, and they wear their red and yellow jackets, and they head out all across campus in the neighborhood every night. So there's a lot of resources here. USC definitely takes the safety of students very seriously, and we want to make sure everyone just stays safe, happy, and healthy, and has an amazing time at USC.
Great. Thank you.
Ray, why don't we ask too, since we've kind of talked about our proximity to downtown Los Angeles, I'm curious as to see of our students, sort of what's your favorite thing to do in Los Angeles, like really outside of campus?
Okay, great. Vonnie, why don't we start with you? Do you have any favorite things to do off campus?
I would say I have not explored LA that much for now, but yeah, LA Live being the closest is a good place to hang out on the weekends, and there are a lot of activities going at LA Live, so you can probably go and you'll have fun.
Great. Lawrence, how about yourself?
My go-to spot is the beach. I like to go running and just kind of get away from how many people there are in Los Angeles sometimes. So I just like to recollect my thoughts and just go to the beach. And yeah, I like that opportunity to just be close to being able to go outdoors or go hiking and just do what I want outdoors. Yeah.
Great. So have you ever done the mountains and the beach on the same day?
Yeah, there's some good hiking spots over in Malibu. That's probably one of the most secluded beaches, and the area is really nice. So Malibu is a great spot to go for the beach and hiking if you're into that.
Great. How about you, Sonal?
As Lawrence said, I'm a beach person. I love going to beaches. And besides that, LA has real restaurants. So if you're a foodie, this is the place to be because you get to taste a lot of different flavors from around the world just sitting right here.
Great. Um, this one will be actually for Sanal and Vani. Can you provide some insight regarding the F1 OPT? So I assume they're talking about the internship process for OPT. Sanal, why don't we start with you?
So when you come in as an international student, if you want to do an off-campus internship, it's called a CPT, which you just have to file with the OIS. You need proof of your employment. So OIS is really helpful with such matters. You just walk up to them and they let you know as to what all you need. And when you get a job after you graduate, you need to file for your OPT, which is for 12 months. So again, there are rules to that, which the OIS helps you out with. And OPT version, you also have a STEM extension available beyond that for another 17 months. So being engineers, we get to stay here for longer without a business visa. So due to this, your company can effectively apply for your H-1B for like 3 years continuously, which is a big advantage for the international students.
Great. How about you, Vani? Anything to add on that?
Yeah, Sonal has almost said everything.
Okay, great. So I had a question that I have since lost again regarding what percentage of students will actually be international students get internships, and actually that's a question I can answer because I was just talking with one of the people that helps coordinate that, and currently it's somewhere between a quarter to a fifth of all the international students are actually doing internships of some sort. Actually, Lawrence, let me ask one final question for you. Or actually, I'm going to ask everyone, but I'm going to start with you. I've seen a few students that are curious as to how do you figure out which courses to take, and I think they're talking about how to find out how difficult some courses are, or which professors you should are particularly good, and you definitely want to take, and things like that. Are there any resources that you use for helping select your classes?
I would say being on campus around all the students is probably your best bet. The students know probably best in terms of their own perspectives of what courses are the most difficult. One of the things that the Gap office does pretty well, or they did with my class, is they set up a Facebook page, and on that same page we're able to ask each other questions about the professors and whatnot. So being on campus and being able to ask your your fellow students and your advisors, and they'll more than likely point you in the right direction. So I'll be having to go right now, Raymond, and thank you guys. If you all have any problems or you need help with anything, you could contact me at vgsl@usc.edu. And fight on. We'll look forward to seeing you all.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us, Lawrence. I appreciate it.
Lawrence.
Actually, I do have a question. Actually, this works out well because it's from an Indian student that actually was curious as to how easy or difficult the academics at USC is compared with the schools in India. Vani, do you want to start with that one?
I would say for an Indian student, yeah, it's pretty difficult from the curriculum that we have. Like the style of teaching is different because you get a lot to do by yourself. You have to do a lot of research before you jump into doing your assignment. So it depends upon how the professor has given you instructions and how you want to go about it. And on top of that, any help from professors is always, I mean, you can always reach out to them. And you have to be very, particular about the courses you select. So it depends upon your own choice what courses you are interested in. So the best advice would be to reach out to your seniors and ask them for the courses and the curriculum it has, so you can relate well and make your own mind before you actually go for a particular course.
Great. Anything to add to that, Sonal?
Yeah, as Vani mentioned, being international students, the style of teaching is a little different. So I would say it takes you about the first 2 months to settle into this pattern of teaching. But once you settle into it, it's not that hard. You have to work hard because it's your master's, but you can definitely do it.
Great. This is one that we sort of touched on, but because of the way this was asked, I do want to pass this along as well. Is USC fun? All work and no play makes me a dull boy. So, Sonal, what do you do for fun?
USC is a lot more than fun. It depends on you personally. You get to spend a lot of time with your roommates, your friends, the organizations, your class groups. So even though you're working, we have a lot of fun when we're working. Uh, Again, personally on you, there are lots of depends on how much you want to incorporate into your schedule.
Great. How about you, Vani? What do you do for fun?
As Lawrence had said earlier, it's all about your time management. But USC has lots and lots of activities going around all through the year. I mean, almost every Saturday or a Sunday would be some event on campus. So if you want to be a part of the event to have fun, you get a lot of opportunities on campus. Other than that, you can make a lot of friends here. So you can hang out with them and go out places the way you want to enjoy.
Great. So, oops. Apparently, there have been a couple people that were asking about how many master's students go on to a PhD, so I'm going to answer that real quickly. About 20% of our master's students go on to their PhD, so it's not at all difficult to, it does require that you apply to the PhD program, and one thing to keep in mind is that the vast majority of our master's students actually are interested in going directly into industry after their degree, as opposed to a PhD program. But it's definitely possible, and if you have any other questions, you're welcome to send us an email, and we'd be happy to discuss it further. I have a question here from Joel. What is the examination structure like, theoretical or projects? I do know that this kind of varies from class to class, but Sonal, what has your overall experience been regarding the exam structure?
As you mentioned, it really depends on the professor. I would say most of the classes I've been in, they give an equal weightage to your projects and your exams. So we have like a midterm and a final, which accounts for 50 to 60% of your grade, and the remaining 40 to 50 is your projects and your assignments that you do throughout the semester. So I'd say it's given almost an equal weightage, but there are some professors who have complete weightage towards projects or complete weightage towards your exams only.
Right. Since I know you mentioned food specifically, Sonal, is vegetarian food available in LA, and is it easy to find?
I'm a vegetarian, so I would say I love the food here because everything has a vegetarian option to it. You have a lot of Mexican food, Italian. I've tried Ethiopian food after coming here and I love it. So there are a lot of vegetarian options. Finding food is really easy here. You won't have a problem.
Great. Actually, while I've got you on, got you up, so someone was asking about sports at USC, and since you're in VGSA, do you want to talk a little bit about the soccer match that just happened recently?
Yeah, so I'm a part of VGSA and we organized a soccer match where we had all the it was an inter-department competition. So we had all the departments competing against each other. We had a huge number of sign-ups. It was like nearly 200 people signing up for the matches. So USC is really big into sports, soccer, football. You have a lot of opportunities to explore it. And we also had a friendly match with the staff at the end, and we had our dean play in for that. So there are a lot of sport activities out there, and the Leon Center, that's the recreational center in charge for the sports, that's also really good facilities-wise.
Bonnie, are you involved in any of the sports, or do you have friends that are doing any sport activities here at USC?
I am not directly involved in sports, but yes, after being a part of VGSA, we had this soccer event this semester. That was fun.
Okay. I know that our career services group actually does have some things specifically for international students regarding regarding job opportunities. Have either of you taken advantage of or looked into some of the services through or some of the opportunities through career services to assist international students that are looking for jobs here in the States? Bonnie, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, the Viterbi Career Gateway, I mean, you get a lot of options to look around because they keep updating the site with the new opportunities like companies if there's any opening. And on the other hand, the career services do help you with, your resume and let you help go with some mock interviews if you want. So they provide a lot of help, and it's just that you have to reach out to them and ask, and they will direct you in the right direction.
Great. So this is someone, I don't know whether either of you doing much in the way of either machine learning or artificial intelligence. I have a student that was kind of interested in those two topics here at USC. I think I see two head.
No.
I would just add to like few of my friends are doing a similar course, and of the reviews I had from them, it's like it's a really challenging course, but you get to learn a lot. So I think it's a good feel at USC. Although I'm not doing any of the courses, so I'm not the right person to comment on it.
Great, thank you.
So I also want to make a quick plug, Ray.
Okay.
So I know a lot of students are, still finalizing their decision about attending USC. I know there's a lot of information you have to weigh, and hopefully getting to interact with our students has given you some more information to help you in that decision. So once you have made your decision about attending USC, we ask that you submit a form called a statement of intent. That's really important because that lets us know that you're coming to USC, and then we can send you information on registration, orientation, all that good stuff. And then also, Ray and I are hosting a series of webinars called Next Steps, and I think a lot of the logistical questions that students have about coursework, advisors, we can help you answer those. And the next one we have is April 22nd, and we'll have a following one on May 13th. And I just wanted to tag on the vegetarian food question. So Sonal and Vani, I don't know if you guys have been to Good Karma. Do you ever eat at Good Karma? So twice. It's great. It's become this really kind of little community, and it's at the church on campus, and they have a vegetarian meal for $10. It's all you can eat, and it's really all you can eat. People bring really large trays and fill them up, and it's a really great way to share a vegetarian meal. And most of the people that attend that are not engineers, so it's a really great way to meet people outside of the Viterbi school. So what you'll find on the USC campus, there's always something going on, whether it's, last week they were selling things like sunglasses and plants and all sorts of things. There's always clubs doing activities on campus. There's lots of things like live music. There's cultural events. Also, we have a farmers market, which is every Wednesday. So our campus is really, really buzzing and really alive with activity. So just wanted to add that.
Great. Well, what I'm going to do is, since we're pretty almost at the top of the hour, and it looks like we've covered. There are a lot of questions that are very curriculum specific, and since our two panelists are both computer science, I'm going to guess that they don't have a lot to say about biomedical engineering or industrial and systems engineering and some of the other disciplines. But what I'd like is for both of you, if you have maybe pass along a little bit of wisdom, maybe along the lines of one or two things that you wish you had known before you arrived here at USC or shortly after you arrived here at USC. Sonal, you want to get us started up with that?
So the only thing I wish I'd done a little earlier was get involved with more activities on campus. I joined VJSA only in my second semester, so I wish I would have been a part of it from the first semester because I would have done a lot more that way. And also, I guess being an international student took me a little time to, open up and talk to everyone around you. So that's something you should definitely push for. You're coming here for the international experience, so reach out. Don't feel scared of anything. People here are really friendly and help you out with anything you want. Don't be afraid to ask. Just be yourself and enjoy your experience here. You'll love it. I know I have.
Great, thank you, Sonal. How about you, Bonnie? Any last words of wisdom about being a student here, or things that you wish you had known before you got here?
I would say the US Allen Group is really helpful. You should try to reach out to them, and if they don't reply sooner, they definitely will. So it's good way to start because it helps you learn a lot of things beforehand. So that's a piece of advice. And as Sonal said, you could be a part of VJS if you're coming to Viterbi. And as a VJS, I would say we organize a lot of events. So it's part to be. I mean, it's fun to be part of those fun activities. It lets you soothe out from the hectic schedule at work.
Great, thank you, Bonnie. Well, we're pretty much at the top of the hour. What I will do is after this is over, I will go through these questions and see whether there is a way for me to reply to some of you on some of the questions that this wasn't really an ideal forum for, but we'll try to get an answer to you. I'd like to thank my co-host Awara, as well as our student panelists Sonal and Bonnie, and to all of you that participated in asking questions and hearing what we have to say. We really appreciate your participation. Thank you very much for coming, and fight on. Take care.
We are doing, we're doing another session, so this is our very first session, so we'll be a little more polished today at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if maybe there's a question that you feel like we didn't answer, you're welcome to join us for that session as well. But thank you so much for joining us. Fight on.
What was that? Oh, thank you. Oh. I think it actually went pretty well.